back to the SML podcast. We're back after, I think the last one we did was back in December. The SML Podcat. Well, I guess, Prime, you better explain what the whole podcast was about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was on GroupMe, and I think I just had a typo, and someone picked up on it, and then they started sharing a cat picture. Is that what happened? And then it became the Podcat.
Yeah, I mean, it was more or less just a running joke that was going on for a while after you just kind of screwed up and, you're just kind of getting your balls busted for it. But I figured I'd go ahead and make mention of that for some of the newer members that weren't part of that, didn't really get the joke, because I kind of brought up the Podcat earlier this evening. So anyway, we're back, and we're getting ready to talk about some things today. Field Journal 007 with Primetime 000. First of all, we have to talk about the undefeated season, 16-0. What does it take to go 16-0 in Madden?
It takes a lot, It's tough to win 10, 12 games. Usually I drop, 3-4 games a year, so you just kind of get some lucky breaks, and then hopefully, the toughest games are always division games, because I think somebody posted it yesterday. They just kind of know your tendencies. If you can do that, then sweep your division, then you have a good chance at winning at least 8 to 10 games, and then the rest of them, then they could be a crapshoot, because then you play some NFC teams that you never really play, so you don't know how to match up against them. But I got lucky, and 16-0, so we'll see.
So after you beat me in the divisional round, are you going to win the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I would like to. I'm focused on New England. We're not looking ahead anywhere but New England.
Right. So he's basically saying that he's looking at the Super Bowl. I guess, it's interesting to talk about the playoffs. I was actually really happy to see that the Falcons made it back in. He kind of had a low ball season for himself, kind of by the really just creeping in by his
interesting
teeth.
Though, intriguing. Since he is a 6th seed, he plays the Panthers, and even though he is a 6th seed,
he can always upset the Panthers. That's why I wanted to see him go in there. That's an upset alert,
and I think they played earlier this year, and it was within like 10 points.
And I think the Vikings have been knocked off already.
Yeah, Falcons beat the Vikings. So we're looking at Niners and
Cardinals. Who do you have in that game? Let's break that game down.
Well, I'm gonna probably say the Niners off the top. I think the Cardinals is a good player. His first season he went like 13-3 or something, but overall I think Niners got his franchise quarterback in the draft. I think he traded up to get him last season, and overall he's just a very solid player. Came into our Madden cycle last Madden as the Bengals, and he's a pretty solid player. So gave Panthers a run for his money in the NFC Championship game last year, so he's a big game player, and he's got a very good team, 94 overall. He's got the second-rated scoring defense behind me, only allowing 15 points a game, so he can get it done. Defense wins championships, and I expect the Niners to win 31-17.
Wow. Yeah, I don't really know too much about the Cardinals. I honestly, I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if he goes on auto quite a bit or not. I just don't hear a lot about his games. I mean, according to the stats, he's got a pretty good offense, 27 points per game, and kind of middle of the road on defense. I did play the 49ers earlier this season, and it was a close game, and it took, that final game-winning drive to finally
I remember
to pull it out.
I think that was like a big deal. Everybody was posting about it because I think he scored late or something.
Yeah, I think I had control of the game, and then he got it, and it looked like I blew the game, and I had like a 2-minute drill type deal, and we managed to pull it out. So obviously, I think we had, like you said, the body of work with the 49ers. In fact, he's put the team together. You got to go with the 49ers. Yeah. So then that would take you to the divisional round. So for the AFC, you got the Colts beating the Patriots, and then you've got what's the other?
Dolphins and Bengals.
Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins in that game. The Bengals has gotten better. Obviously, he's made the playoffs now. He almost seems like he's getting ready to turn that corner to
elite status.
Elite status and controlling his division on a consistent basis. The Ravens just kind of.
Well, here's my thing with I guess two things. Real quick with the Bengals is he's working his way up. I played him, and in a game where usually I might pull away against somebody, he stayed in there, kept throwing punches. So with that mentality, he can stay in any game. That game's kind of a crapshoot. I don't know for sure if Bengals we haven't seen him in a big game really, so it could go either way for him. And as for the Ravens, as his schedule got tougher, he had that playoff type schedule this year, and he couldn't compete. I expect him to have a rebound season because he'll be playing third or fourth place division teams because that's what his schedule equates to based off strength of schedule since he's like fourth in his division.
Yeah, I mean, that division is not a slouch, and especially now that the Bengals has elevated his level of play.
And NYT still.
You got a guy like NYT that, was a veteran.
And Bo Matty Brown.
CFN player, and Bo Matty Brown, who's been in the SML since its...
inception, almost.
Yeah. So, anyway, I think I'm just going to go with the Dolphins just because the Dolphins has beat me more times than I beat the Bengals, I think, both times that I played them.
I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to say Bengals in an upset, but...
Bengals are they're a pretty good offense. 28 points per game is fifth best in the league.
They're a sexy pick.
The Dolphins, though,
he's a good player. He's just all around.
I think his defense is better than the Bengals. The Bengals has a good offense. He likes to run the ball. He likes to run the ball outside. Get it outside and bounce and get big runs, and then run. Obviously, his play action off that. But the Dolphins, I think, is the more complete.
With
player.
his quarterback Wedgie, the rookie, just depends on how he.
Even
shows
that name
up.
Wedgie, you just know that the kid's not always going to show up.
Yeah, he's inconsistent from what I've seen of his games. He'll either just blow up, or he'll throw a lot of picks.
Something interesting though, when you take a look at it, the pass distribution. Kenny Stills 898 yards, Landry 868 yards. I don't know how to say that. Arnard, 647 yards. Devontae Parker, 620.
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys all roughly around the same
Took mine while you're
stat
at it.
line.
See
I mean,
what
you're
it's
not
like in Indy.
you're not just pumping it to one guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts, they like to. You got 1,000 yard receive. The other guys are sub 1,000. But anyway, I think I definitely got to go with the Dolphins in that game. In the NFC, you would have the.
Panthers and Falcons.
I want to see the Falcons beat the Panthers, but I gotta say that the Panthers will win that game.
Yeah, you gotta go mind why Panthers are 14-2, 13-3 this year. I mean, look, the Panthers beat the Falcons 21-14, and then they trounced them 41-7.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say the Panthers obviously swept them.
Yeah, the Falcons, at 9-7, it's not a model of consistency on the season. So hopefully he could string it together, but I don't think it's likely. And that other game would be the Eagles and
the winner of the Niners and Cardinals, which I'm gonna say.
So if you're saying Eagles versus 49ers,
that'll be a good one, man. I'm gonna say the Eagles though. He's 14-2,
number one offense.
I don't know if Carson Wentz is back or not from injury, but I'm gonna say Eagles still gets it done. He does have a very electric offense, apparently.
35 points per game.
Wow,
Oftentimes, I guess we're going to change gears a little bit here. Oftentimes, people always want to post about the new features that they want to see in Madden CFM mode, but they never really talk about it. They just say that, oh, you guys didn't do any work in CFM. I'm not going to make this question overly complicated. What's one thing you would like to see? I mean, a few years back, people wanted to see practice mode. We didn't even have a practice mode in CFM.
Yeah.
They went ahead and they brought that in, which it does help to be able to practice with your guys. I mean, because your overall ratings change, and then you draft different players. So that was nice. So one feature that you'd like to see in CFM mode?
Just reworking contract negotiation, stuff like that, allowing you to backload, front load, distribute, and even maybe renegotiate contracts if, let's say, you sign a guy who's 60 overall or something to a 7-year deal for like $450,000 a year or something. You're probably gonna use him for long term or something. So he ends up being 85 overall by year 3. Maybe he gets mad or something, and then you have to renegotiate because his morale's low, or something like that, something along those lines. And then obviously, like I said, backloading contracts, front loading them, stuff like that, allowing me to kind of manipulate my cap space like a real GM. Because right now, all contracts are just backloaded, and you have no real negotiations with players. It is just kind of is what it is. So just the whole contract situation would be my number one.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I wouldn't mind seeing some small features like You remember back when you could have like sponsorships and it would change the name of your stadium, especially now when you do owner mode and you have those the funds to deal with to help you with free agency and just
Yeah.
re-signing your players. So I think it'd be neat to be able to have just different deals you're trying to broker with various different companies to try to get more funds and have pros and cons for each one, or even just have like some stupid type stories. I know they don't want to do it because it's rated E for everyone, but like you got guys getting busted for DUIs and you get guys getting
Right.
suspended, and I think that'd be neat. But I guess I understand why they don't do it because
Commish probably doesn't allow
yeah,
that to
that's
happen.
kind of frowned upon. They're not
I
wanting
would like
everyone to know that it's the bad boys league.
I would like to see also assistant coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator,
Yeah, all you got is the coach,
or
trainer,
assistant
scout.
GM. And then you could, because like in 2K basketball, the last time I played, which was like I think the one before last one, you could bring in your assistant GM, people like that. So then you have a situation where you can get your guys poached, or even if you want to, you could use your offensive coordinator and fire your head coach, stuff like that. Then you have a little bit more to deal with, and maybe certain offensive coordinators would have different, obviously, impacts on your guys' progression. Just whether that's quarterback is their specialty. Some guys are more quarterback guys, other guys are better at line coaching, stuff like that. So you can kind of dive into that, which they obviously haven't touched at all. So I'd like to see that as well.
When you look at the real life NFL and you see moves like Richard Sherman, it's been announced that he's going to free agency.
Yeah.
Uh, what are some of the biggest moves you expect to see in the NFL, and then just in terms just for the Colts?
Yeah, NFL wise, Sherman, yeah, it's crazy. He tore his Achilles, so I guess that's probably why. But I'm gonna probably say that Kirk Cousins is just gonna be the biggest one, where he ends up probably just gonna follow the money. So somewhere like New York or something. Colts wise, I don't know. I hope they get that Norwell, that guard from the Panthers. Everyone's saying they should take Chubb in the draft, but I would like to see him trade back a few picks, like to 6 or 7, to a quarterback needy team, and then take that guard Nelson out of Notre Dame. Everyone's saying he's the most NFL ready player out of the draft, but since he's a guard and not a tackle, it's not a premier position. But he's right there with Barkley as actually the best player in the draft. So you got Barkley as 1, Nelson at 2, Chubb at 3 as the top 3 players, and then after that it's the quarterbacks. But since it's such a quarterback driven league, people are saying quarterback outvalues all those positions. So I'd like to see Nelson from Notre Dame.
Also, one last point to talk about. Your boy Adam Vinatieri got a
Oh
one-year
yeah,
contract extension, and you and I have talked about this. Adam's going after the records. Do you think this is his swan song?
no, I think he's still, if he has a bad season, but he's been playing like better those last 3 or 4 years than he has any time in his career. I think if he has another 85+% season, I think his goal is to play till 50, based off an interview he had like 2 weeks ago, saying he doesn't plan to stop after this season unless if he does bad. So I think his goal is a record, but I think his greater goal might be playing till he's 50.
All right, now you got me on the Colts topic, and this is the final one, then I'm done. Andrew Luck, obviously the shoulder is still a question mark.
Yeah.
Now, you as the fanboy believe he's going to be back, but
Yeah.
you as a man trying to throw across those bias, do you think Andrew Luck's actually be back and be healthy?
I think that he'll definitely be back. From all the reports, the Colts didn't interview any quarterbacks during the combine, anything like that. So I think there might be, he'll be back. As for healthy structure, I'm not sure. All the pictures, he looks way bigger than he did at any point during the season before they shut him down. I don't know if that's just because he was working out or if they juiced him up with some stuff. But, I don't think he'll have as big of an arm or anything like that. It might be a little deteriorated, but I still think he can perform at a high level. It'll just be structurally, if everything's sound, which you would think it would be after a year.
All right, well, this was the first podcast since December. We picked some games there. We picked the Colts over the Patriots in the divisional round. We picked the Panthers over the Falcons in the divisional round. We picked the 49ers over the Cardinals here in the wild card, and then the Eagles over the 49ers in the divisional round. So we'll see how that plays out, and hopefully we can get another podcast due to work and schedule. I don't know if we will. This may just be a weekend thing for now, but we definitely need to get back in the swing of things with the podcast. I'd like to have 100 videos out by the end of March.
How much are we at?
We've posted 67, so that's unlikely.
That's not
So maybe we should just go for the end of April.
September or something.
No, we're going to start ramping it up. So you need to get with the program. But anyway, if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button to make you stay up to date on all of our new content. Follow us on Twitter at Sim Madden League. If you're just a casual viewer and you're interested in a fun online CFM with a growing Twitter personality, we got our own Twitter handles, and that's something we're going to try to ramp up, especially going into the next Madden. But we're always growing, trying to get better. Be sure to apply online at simmaddenleague.com. Read the rules, see if that interests you, and let us know. Be sure to like, subscribe, take care, have a great day.